With the recent release of FlatOut 4, I thought now would be a better time than ever to look at the origins of the series. FlatOut is a racing game series beloved by fans of racing games with loads of aggression and carnage. The series had numerous releases under different developers, some great, some not so good. So in this video I'm going to have a look through mostly all of the games in the FlatOut series. The first FlatOut game was released for the Xbox, PS2 and PC in 2004 and was developed by Bugbear Entertainment. The game focuses on demolition derby style racing, or derby as you Americans pronounce it, and has a great physics engine to help achieve this. The reason I always loved early FlatOut games is that the cars feel like they have a real weight to them, making the car handling very fun and interesting. But mostly what the game engine achieved, which everyone loved, is the car damage physics and driver ragdoll physics. The car damage was smart in this game by looking different depending on what sort of crash you had. If you had a high enough impact crash, your driver would shoot through the windscreen in a comical fashion, and this gameplay element defined the series. Starting out, you buy yourself a car and progress ahead, earning money by winning races, tournaments, demolition derbies and competing inside minigames. You use your money to buy better cars and to upgrade different components of your car. Tracks feature plenty of objects to plough through and hazards to avoid or push your opponent into. They also featured small shortcuts too if you had the skill to use them well. Getting into crashes earns you nitro to use during races. Not only is it fun to see drivers shoot out their cars during races, Bugbear created a minigame around it where you play several games shooting your driver at different targets and achieving the highest jump too. The game had solid reviews praising its physics engine and fun racing action. Reviews were good enough to warrant a sequel. FlatOut 2 was released 2 years later in 2006 for the Xbox, PS2 and PC. The game takes everything what made the first game great and builds upon it. Featured in this title are more tracks, more cars and more ragdoll minigames. The game has more of a focus on street cars and racing rather than just muscle cars and off-road racing. The game is pretty much improved in every aspect. The car handling feels a bit tighter, graphics are improved, and the tracks have much more going on with destructible environments and shortcuts. This time round, all your competitors have their own name, car type, and racing personality. You'll come to learn all your competitors through the racing campaign. The AI of your competitors has vastly improved this time. Racers will get aggressive when needed and can mess up just as much as you do. The soundtrack has a great selection of rock anthems that tie well with the carnage you'll witness on screen. After the release of FlatOut 2, the team decided to release an updated version of the game on Xbox 360 called FlatOut Ultimate Carnage. This version contains more tracks, cleaner visuals and more car damage. If I want some FlatOut action, this will be the title I go straight towards, and you'll see it featured in one of my Xbox 360 Hidden Gems videos. There was also a version released for the PSP too called FlatOut Head On. The game works really well on a portable system, but I wouldn't say it's as good as, say, Burnout Legends. Now at this point there was a decision made by somebody that Bugbear would work on a new car game for a new series. This would be creatively called Next Car Game at the time. The development of the next FlatOut game would be passed on to another team called Team 6. Previous games by this company include Pizza Dude and Scooter Wars, so you just know the FlatOut series is in good hands. Well, their first release for the Nintendo Wii was simply titled FlatOut in 2010. For a Wii game released this late in its lifespan, this title is pretty bad. Poor physics and uninspired graphics. The ragdoll games remained, but it wasn't really worth any of your time. But after that disappointment, a new title, FlatOut 3 Chaos and Destruction. The third game, an official sequel. Surely this would be worthy of the title. Surely they put far much effort into this one. Oh. So FlatOut 3 released for the PC in December 2011. The first thing you'll notice is the graphics are really muddy and not nice to look at. Definitely a step down from FlatOut 2. The next thing you'll notice as you pull off into your first race is the gameplay has been completely messed up. What made the first games fun was the sense of weight the cars had, which gave really fun vehicle control. This is all gone now as the cars in this game feel glued to the road. Look how this car just sticks to the ground as you go over the hills. The steering just feels strange and is utterly unpleasant to play. The destruction isn't even good either. The vehicles just seem to bounce off each other like the bumper cars or something. This isn't helped by the poor track design. This track here just consists of straights connected by 90-degree turns. Really boring and not worth playing. The game has a plethora of different modes, but they're not really worth playing. Destruction Derbies return, but just look at the AI competitors. They're all just going for me. That really isn't any fun. The damage doesn't even make any sense. Hitting a car full pelt from the side gives 1% damage to them, but the slightest graze from the front gives 20%. Your driver doesn't even shoot out the car. Oh wait, he does, but you just can't see it. At least the characters are slightly interesting. Hey, is it me or does this guy look like Ron Jeremy? Wait a minute. Zario the mechanic? Oh god, it's...
Do the Mario swing your arm!
At one point, this game had the worst rating of all time on Steam. Now I know there's far worse games out there, and I imagine these ratings were mostly due to frustration and expectation rather than assessing the game as it is. But either way, it's really bad and it reviewed bad. Wait, GameStop gave it a 5 out of 10? How? So with the utter disappointment of FlatOut 3 and the increasing interest in Bugbear's next car game, it was safe to say that we'd probably not see another FlatOut game anytime soon. So now we reach modern day, and a few months back we saw the release of FlatOut 4 Total Insanity for the PS4, Xbox One and PC. Rightfully ditched our Team 6 from development duties, and instead the honour goes to French developer Killerton, best known for their work on some of the WRC games. The game follows the Bugbear titles much more closely than FlatOut 3 did. You start off by buying a car, and you drive your way through different tournaments, earning money to buy upgrades and different cars. Same old, same old. There's a nice selection of tracks, and they did add new ragdoll minigames. But it would have been nice if they attempted something new for the series, rather than making the same game to please fans after that utter turd of FlatOut 3. The tracks look okay with plenty of destructible objects, but they still don't quite flow as well as previous games. They're not very memorable. Maybe it's just me, but I don't really see much of a graphical leap forward in this game from FlatOut Ultimate Carnage. I know graphics aren't everything, I'd be the first person to tell you that, but racing games are well known to be the game that pushes furthest in the graphical department. Overall, I'd say FlatOut 4 is okay. It's far better than 3, but definitely not as good as 2. I hope maybe one day we'll experience another fun FlatOut game. I had high hopes for Wreckfest, Bugbear's new driving game, but it seems to be stuck in early access hell, and at a brief glance seems to be abandoned as a project at this moment. But I hope it does get released soon, as it had some great looking car damage physics. Thank you for watching this retrospective on the FlatOut series. If you like the kind of videos I do on this channel, let me know either by commenting or subscribing, and I'll catch you soon.